Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Well, I've seen an awful lot of videos on these groove rings and groove belts. And from what I've seen, a lot of them were given these things. So sometimes when you watch videos where people are given stuff, you question whether or not some of them are the truth. And so I will tell you, I bought this ring and I bought this belt. Now I did get them on sale during the holidays. I don't remember, I think it was for Christmas. It was a Christmas good deal kind of thing. Basically, if you bought a ring, you could get a belt for free, or vice versa, or you could get 2 rings, or you could get 2 belts. And they were, I don't know exactly how much. I will put the price below. But anyhow, I went ahead and pulled the trigger on them because I've been kind of looking at them. I watched a few YouTube videos about them, and quite honestly, as far as the ring is concerned, that is what I've been looking at. When they said you could get a belt for free, I was like, hey, why not? Let's try it out. But I really wanted this ring for a couple reasons. One, it is rubber, which I will say that's one of the downfalls. It's a little hard to get off sometimes. Get a little wet and it comes off easy. So I gave you a little tip right up front. Anyways, it's rubber. It squishes. So I like that because when I was doing a rock climbing many years ago, when I could still do things like that, up in one of the grab hooks, somebody had actually broken a bottle and put pieces of broken bottle down inside of one of them. And when I grabbed a hold of it, actually it was with this hand, when I grabbed a hold of it, my hand slipped off, and then I was left hanging from my ring finger trying to hold on, which kind of messed it up, popped it out of its socket, and also caused me not to be able to wear my wedding ring anymore. So there you are. If you think you're just pulling a prank, you could really hurt somebody for the first part there. But regardless, beyond that, like I said, many years ago, I've been looking at these because I wanted something that was more soft, because I just can't wear a ring, one of the hard rings anymore at all, for very long. It really bugs me. Second of all, as a mechanic, having rubber instead of a regular ring is nice because of a couple things. If you're doing electronics, you have to take your wedding ring off. You should take your wedding ring off if you're doing electrical work, which I've done home electrical as well as automotive electrical stuff. So win-win there. With these, you're not going to grab a hold of well, you still can shock yourself, but it's not going to conduct as well. Thirdly, I've also worked in areas where I worked around forklifts and very heavy equipment and very heavy things like that. And with regular rings, yet again, you crush them on there, you can lose your finger. With this, if you break your finger, I've done that. I've broke my finger before actually, and I luckily got my ring off before it swelled up. But you can have problems with that as well, and it can actually, unless you get it cut off real quick, really hurt you and even lose your finger. So another upside to these rings. Now, as far as the actual wearing it, do I like it, and the belt as well? I know I've gone into the ring quite a bit, but it was what I was really looking for. I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and we'll take a closer look at them. Here we go. As far as the ring, I've already told you quite a bit of this. About the only thing I see that I've noticed with this is that it's a little hard to get off and on if it's dry, and if you get it wet, I don't like the feeling of wetness behind the ring, in between the ring and my finger, so I tend to wash my hands, get it wet, pull it off, and let it dry for a while. But be as that, if I'm out and I don't want to take the ring off and I need to wash my hands, I do that, and it doesn't cause any problems. I just don't like the feel. Now, the other thing I have noticed is that out in public lately, we've been using a lot of hand sanitizers and washing our hands a lot. And I have noticed with hand sanitizer, that it will actually swell a little bit for a little while. So you want to pay attention to that if you are out and use some hand sanitizer. It can actually get slippery. I have not lost it yet to the point where it'll fly off, but just be aware of that. As well as I use the Gojo or hand cleaners, those orange hand cleaners, when working on cars, and have noticed that it also causes it to swell up a little bit. So I don't know if there's some alcohol or something in that as well. But as far as comfort, I've never had a ring that was this comfortable before. I did notice when I first started wearing it, in between here, it feels almost like a little, I wouldn't call it sticky, but it definitely is. It's rubber, so it has kind of a grip to it. That's a better word for it, bit of a grip. So I did notice that felt a little weird, but I've gotten pretty well used to that. Haven't had too many problems with that as well. You know, like I said, taking it off and on is probably the hardest part. I do tend to take it off at night just because I've never been a real big ring fan. Rings and watches, I just don't like the feel of all that much. But quite honestly, this is definitely the most comfortable ring I've ever owned. So take that from somebody who doesn't really enjoy wearing rings much. I have actually used brake clean and carb clean while wearing this. I actually did that right off the bat just to see, because I do believe it says that it is okay with that stuff. Quite honestly, it's been so long since I looked at the information on it, I don't remember. But I have used carburetor cleaner and brake cleaner with this a couple of times now and had no problems with it. So, and it does, like I said, it does, when you use alcohol and hand sanitizers or brake cleaner, it swells up a little bit so that it's more loose, I would say, on the finger, but it does contract back down to where it's supposed to be. So I have not found I had any problem. I haven't found that it's caused any issues with the color or the feel of it. It all, you know, it goes right back to where it should be once it kind of dries out and doesn't have that chemical. Now, yet again, if you're going to be using a lot of chemicals, I can't guarantee it's going to last forever. But the few times I've used it, and it's actually been 2 or 3 times I've used carb cleaner, that it didn't affect it all. And I did make sure I, you know, kind of actually hosed it a little bit just to kind of see what would happen, and it didn't hurt it at all. So to each their own on that one. So now we get to the belt here, and quite honestly, I wouldn't have bought this belt if I couldn't have got it for the buy one get one free with the ring thing here. But I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna try it out, and I'm very happy I did. I'll be honest, I really actually like the belt. I was worried that the stretchiness, I'm a large person, as most of you may know. I got a bit of a gut and a flat butt, so my pants tend to fall down, and I always wear a belt. I've always worn a belt, but I've always wore leather belts. I've even done videos on other leather belts that I have. So I'm a big leather belt fan. But I will say also, as a fat person that comes in and sits down and tends to unbutton the top button, as some of you may know or may do as well. This is nice just to be able to go like that, and it pops open, and I don't have to unbelt anything and all that kind of stuff. And then it goes back together. It's fairly simple. Now, because I'm a larger person too, I also bought a little bigger belt than I thought I was going to need, just so I could grow. Hopefully I won't grow, but I'll hopefully lose weight. And if I was to lose weight, first of all, I probably would have bought the next size down. If I can get the information, I'll put what size this is. But it is, there's a lot of excess we'll put right here. And it was a little difficult getting it adjusted. That was the one thing about this, getting it to this point where it's adjusted. Messing with this stuff, it's a little difficult. It does not want to, this doesn't want to move from where it is once you get it set very easily. You know, you got to push in on this and pull, and vice versa, push and pull. But once you get it set, it's set. And quite honestly, it is stretchy enough. If you're like me, I can gain or lose 5 pounds in a week with no problem. And it's plenty stretchy enough that I haven't had to move it around at all. And that's the other thing. Also, sitting down, like I said, I tend to pop the top. And when I don't do that, I have noticed this actually isn't all that uncomfortable. If I'm just sitting down or sitting somewhere, it's not an uncomfortable belt. It's a very, very comfortable belt for a heavy guy that, you know, has a pooch over the top of it here. It's just not an uncomfortable belt. This is nice. Back to this right here. So this right here, like I was saying, I bought it long. So because of that, I also kind of looked at it, and what is it? It's on this one right here. Not only do I think you could probably get this out of this right here, but also there's 3 screws that bite into this right here. I don't think if you ended up with one too long, or if you lost a bunch of weight, it would be very difficult. You could just cut this off and burn the end and then screw this back on here, and you'd probably be fine. Or once again, you know, what I might actually do in the future is just cut this off right in here, burn it, and not have all this sticking up. But I'll be honest, right now me and weight are not getting along, so I'm going to keep the excess and hope I don't have to use it. But to each their own on that as well. I'm sure if you start messing with that kind of stuff, any warranty that would be on this belt would be gone. So, and you don't have to worry about the stretch. I was worried a bit about the stretch, that it would just, you know, it would stretch and just not work. But it really, you can have it fairly tight and it still stretches enough where it's comfortable. I keep mine fairly tight. And I'll show you a video of me undoing it and doing it back up. And what I'm about to show you is that I actually grab a hold, pull out, like stretch it out, and push in, and it opens up. When I go to close it, I also, because I did have a lot of problem probably the first 3 or 4 days that I tried wearing it, getting it undone was quite easy, but getting it done back up, if you do it like a regular belt where you're, you know, trying to kind of do this kind of thing and get it in there, you won't have success. Well, you may, but I didn't have success. I found that I just grab a hold of it with my thumb and fingers, I stretch it, and I put it together like that, let it go, and it sets where it sets. So don't be afraid to get a hold of it, give it a little bit of a stretch, and you know, get in there and open it. Like I said, I'll show you a video. As far as, you know, working and things like that in it, this probably could scratch a car or scratch a paint job. So it's like any other belt. You should put a rag or something over it if you're, you know, using it and you're working on a car or leaning over the car. But on the other hand, it is very, very soft, very not pokey, I guess. There's no hard points on it, so you know, also you probably won't have too much of a problem with a big belt sticking out, but you know, safety first. You want to put something over that if you're leaning over a car, and the paint job matters. So if I had to do it all over again, but I had to pay the 50 bucks per piece, I would do it. I think this is well worth the 50. I think they're $50 a piece, maybe $54. I can't remember. Hopefully I've already put the price in for you. But for the 50 something dollars, less than $60, I would totally buy these again. Now, I really didn't think I would spend that much on a belt like this. I might go to a leather belt just because I like leather belts. But now that I've wore this, it's more comfortable. It is a nice belt. It does the job well. It's held up. Now something else, shipping. For some reason, if you guys know where I live, some of you may not. You got to figure out where it is if you really want to know. But I'm about as far from New York as you can get. And the first set of these, they shipped to New York, to an address there. I don't know why. But within a couple days, they went on ahead and shipped out these. Well, I got my ring, but my belt was the wrong color. It was this light blue, turquoisey kind of color, which there's no way I would ever wear. It's just not my thing. I wanted this one here, and what it ended up being is we got the turquoise colored belt with this inlay, because you can get different ones of these in different colors with the gunmetal or whatever. Well, I thought the whole thing was going to be a gunmetal. So pay attention to what color the actual belt is, because this could be gunmetal, but the belt might be a different color on whatever picture you're looking at. Because when my wife ordered it, she did go back and look, and the picture was just the wrong one. So they totally let us send it back. We sent it back, and actually they sent this to me right then, and we sent the other one back, and we got this within a couple days again. So they were really quick on their shipping. Yes, they had one mistake sending it to New York. Don't know what that was all about. That could have been the shipping company even. But all in all, their customer service was quick. We weren't forever on a phone, and their customer service was good. We ended up with the products that I wanted. As far as conceal carry and those kind of things, I have a license to conceal carry. But I have not actually put my gun on this belt, I'll be honest. And you know, I wouldn't put it in this video anyway because there's problems with that in YouTube. Something I have noticed though is I put my Leatherman and my phone hook on this. Now this is kind of bulky compared to most belts. So I have also noticed that this will not go through it. It has a clip here, so it clips on, similar to other products you may use with this. But to get it back off, you're not getting that off through there as well, so you will have to pull that out and pop that off. As far as this, this is way worn in, but it goes through fine. I have noticed that this gets caught on belt loops every now and then. Coming out. Going through, I haven't had any problems, but coming out, I have noticed things have got caught on like these kind of things right there. You can see how something could get caught on that, or even this right here. So I have had that a little bit, pulling them off, but it's not a huge problem. And yet again, I would totally buy the wedding ring again, the ring. Because, you know, I've been wanting this. I would go ahead and pay 50 bucks for that all day. You're never going to find a ring for 50 bucks or less that's probably as, you know, user friendly as this one, I will say. As far as the belt, I'm kind of back and forth on would I or wouldn't I, but I probably would. Especially if you like this type of material. I'm not a big fan of these kind of materials. I like the looks of the leather, but again, I really like this. I think I could wear this to, you know, for dress up with no problem, and it works fine for work as well. Yet again, I paid for these products, and I am extremely happy I did. I'm very glad I got it for the 50 bucks, because now I have no doubt that for both of these, the $50 was well worth the money. For each, the ring, yeah, and actually for the belt, I don't know if you can buy a decent leather belt for 50 bucks anymore. I tend to actually go to Value Village and Goodwill and places like that to find my leather belts these days. And that's where I, usually find those kind of things. But yet again, I thought pull the trigger on it and give people some information out there. And it's a very high quality, very good, well manufactured product. I'm not sure if it comes from the United States or not. You'll have to do your own research on that. If I see something, I might put it below. But regardless, it's, I believe, a U.S. company that is selling these to people, at least, putting some people to work, and it's a high quality product that I would easily spend the extra money. So, yet again, keep an eye out on around the holidays. They might have this. Well, the reason you're just looking at the ring here is because I already put the belt on my pants and didn't realize that when I went to end that video, the SD card filled up or the battery went away or something happened and I didn't get the end. So I was about to say, if you keep an eye out around the holidays, which admittedly Valentine's just went by and I wasn't able to get back to this soon enough, but I did look at them when I was editing this video, and noticed they had even, I think, a little better deal for Valentine's Day for the belts and rings. So keep an eye around the holidays. They seem to have pretty much 2 for the price of 1 type deals, and depending on what you're looking for, if you just want one or the other, they're pretty cheap. So regardless, you can go check them out. I am very happy with mine, and hopefully you can find a good deal. If not, like I said, I think they're pretty well worth the price. Maybe a little bit more than I would want to pay normally for things, but these days nothing is cheap. So in that case, thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master none. You all have a good one.